And I'm Dave, and welcome to
Today we're going to do a healthy noodle dish which can be incorporated into roll till 4. As you know, with these noodles that you see here, these are instant noodles that people eat every day. They're plentiful at the supermarket. This is like a Japanese brand, and we've got an Australian Maggi brand. It's quite easy to make a healthy noodle dish, and it's very beneficial for your children and your family. Get them involved and see what they can come up with. Make it like a game, say who can invent the best noodle dish. Okay, this one here, the Japanese brand, and there's different ones, and this one's actually got sesame oil in it. It's 41% fat, so if you're on a raw till 4, 80-10-10, high carb, low vegan, this is not for you. It's 2,150 milligrams of salt, which is way more than is your daily allowance. This one, the Maggi one, the Australian one, is a little better, but it's still terrible. So you've got 35% fat, 1,250 milligrams of sodium. Now my delectable husband used to come home, boil some water in a kettle, throw this in a bowl, put the kettle water in there, put the soup mix in, and away he'd go. That was his meal. Shocking. Of course, things are a bit different now. So now I'm going to hand you over to my delectable husband, who's going to make a wonderful noodle meal for our tea, and I hope you really enjoy this. Thank you.
G'day beautiful people. Okay, thank you to my lovely. Now it's passed over to me to show you that a truckie can actually cook. I never used to. I used to go along and, yeah, she's not wrong, I used to get those noodle packet. I used to crush the noodle packet, put them in a bowl, boil the water in a kettle, pour the ingredients over the top, pour the hot water on it, go sit down and eat it. That was a meal. If I couldn't grab it in 5.5 milliseconds, Dave wasn't interested. Typical male. Okay, these are beautiful noodles. Okay, and as you can see at the top here, they're 98% fat free. So they're really, really good for you. So these are the main ingredients. We use these magic stuff. Okay, this is a stock which tastes like chicken. Okay, very low in sodium, just so you know. And so I find it really strange how you go vegan and you want to go along and get stuff that tastes like something we don't eat. Interesting, isn't it? But anyway, so we're going to have there the main ingredients, and that with water, and then we're going to have peas, okay, broccoli, zucchini, and spring onion or shallot. Okay. Now, all right. So that's the main ingredients. So here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get stuck into it. So we've got 2.5 cups of nice spring water in here. Alright. Then this beautiful chicken stock liquid stock. Sorry, I'll get it right. Alright. So this one we put in a cup and a half. Okay. The camera too long. So that's a cup. And alright, so that's the basic step off. And what we do is we'll crank this little puppy up. There we go. And then while that's sort of firing up, we'll open up these. Now these have got 3 capsules in it. Okay, basically it's the same old rule, you know. Each one's for each single person, but my wife and I are both having one, so these are already like pre-cracked. So we just pull out a little, whoops, lose me bits. This actually, oh, no, rips off. There we go. Okay, so we put one in, and then we grab the other one. So this is actually for 3 sets. Very strange, isn't it? Most people have family of 4. You only get 3 in this one. Might be the Chinese thing. You're only allowed to replace yourself 1. Okay, so we let that go and get that one cooking. Alright, so we're just starting to get up to the boil side of it, so you just make sure you know, as it softens, you can drop it into the pot. There we go. So we just wait a little while for this to start to heat up. Okay, so now we're starting to get a little bit of a boil up, so we can slow that down a little bit. So, you know, like most vegetables, there's certain things will cook quicker than others. So we'll just grab a handful of zucchini. They're going to take the longest to cook. And like I said, you kind of pick how much you want to put in there. Yeah, that's probably enough. So we'll let that go for a little while. Boiling, we give her a bit of a stir. I remember as a young fellow, we used to go along and Mum showed me, I think, and you put salt in, I think, or you can use oil or butter, and that used to make the noodles separate. You don't do that anymore. Okay, so we've let that it doesn't have to be that long because we're not doing the old-fashioned type of thing where you're going to cook the arse out of everything. We still want a bit of life in stuff. So now we put our beautiful peas in, and I know my wife loves her peas, so I make sure I put all of them in because that keeps me in the good books. Shh, don't tell her. So we give her a bit more of a stir. Now it's starting to get nice and thick, and our noodles are getting pretty close. I don't think we have to wait too long. I think we should be able to put them in pretty soon. So I'll throw them in there. A beautiful broccoli. And that's another thing my wife loves to death. So broccoli and peas. I think she'd live on them and potato if she had half a chance. Now that's pretty full. So while that's just going a little bit longer, we'll just chop this up. And we'll just make it pretty and cut it on an angle. So we've got our last little bit, so we're pretty well done. It doesn't take very long. We throw those lovely things in there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to let it sit there and simmer for a little bit of time in its own juices and its own heat, because we've actually turned it off, and then we'll be back and we'll be getting stuck into it.
Okay, now we're going to finish off our noodles. Now if you use less water, you can have just the noodles, and if you use more water, it's more like a soup. This actually, give it a little taste test. Tastes really nice. Already tastes like a really nice soup. There are a couple of options you can add. This is a new aminos, which is like a soy sauce, but it's made from coconut. It's made from the coconut flour on the coconut palm. But it is quite high in sodium, so you don't need to use something like this. You can add something like a chili dressing. This is a chili salad dressing, which is very low fat, or you can use the one that we made that was Freely's recipe. And then what we're going to do when we put it in our plates, we're going to put some hemp seeds on the top to give it the omega-3 section. Okay, so because it tastes so nice, I really don't need to put much in there at all. So I'll just put a little dash of this in there. Gives it a little bit of colour. A little bit of coconut nutrient. So you can hardly tell that there's any in there. And then all you need to do is plate it up. So we've got our bowls. We have nice big bowls in this house. So here we go. Some beautiful noodles. Grab some vegetables. There's plenty here for two. Plenty of food in here. Very healthy and nutritious. So with Rotel 4, you normally eat the starch or the high carb meal, cooked meal around 4 or 5 o'clock, and don't eat too late. But with Dave's shifts, he works all sorts of different shifts. So this is the end of his shift today. So this is 4 o'clock basically. So he'll be having this meal, and then he'll be off to bed quite early tonight. Okay, now what we do, hemp seeds, very nutritious, high in essential oils, and we'll just sprinkle some of these onto the noodles. Again, this is optional. They're a very good addition to your food.
Peace, love, and mung beans, people. Catch you next time. Alright, you can all nick off now. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's beautiful, bud.
Please subscribe to our channel. Give us a like.
Give us a thumbs up.